Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Final Touches Thursday and we are still working on our bug, and I will be finishing up some of the flowers here and trying to get as much done today as I can. Of course, I do have tomorrow as well. We will be mixing some paints because I need some browns and that sort of thing. So yeah, we will be working on this today. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Um, Today, my youngest son, had his very first job interview, so we're hoping he gets the job. Switching it over to the close-up camera here, I'm going to turn the light on a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Tip you down just a little. We're going to work on this big flower here, and we're going to be using raw sienna and a little bit of burnt umber, and we'll be mixing that with some whites and some yellows and some oranges and that sort of thing. So let's get started with a brush. Actually, you know what I need? I need my little spatula. Let's see. Trying to remember where I put my spatulas, because I stuck them somewhere and I should have pulled them out and I didn't, because I'm smart that way. Hold on a sec. Oh, I know there's a good one in here. That's what I'll do. I'll just use one of the rubber ones here. There we go. Use my little silicone one. It works. So I have a silicone spatula, and we're going to use this to mix the paint. I still have the paint from yesterday on here. It's dried out, but that's okay. We'll put a little bit of water on it. So I'm going to put down a little bit of the brown. So this is the raw sienna, and I'm going to put a little bit of white in it. Maybe, if I can open the white. Because I don't really want it that brown. Want it a little bit off. So then we'll mix it all together. And we'll make it a nice light brown. Like that. And we'll wipe off the spatula. Or we'll just take it off the spatula with our brush later on. Yeah, the joys. It was such a really good day. Um, a great stream yesterday. I really enjoyed having you all visiting. Can't wait until Saturday now, because Saturday's going to be a whole new stream. So I have my paper towel here for blotching and wiping and whatnot. So let's get started with some water. I'm going to put down a layer of clean water on a couple of these areas here. And then we'll pick up some of this paint and we'll decide if we need to change some color of it. I think it needs a little bit of yellow. So it's not actually too bad. It's actually pretty good. Pretty close to the color I wanted. So let's rinse that. And we'll pick up a little bit of this yellow. And just put a little bit of bright yellow in it. Yeah, that works. I like that. Like that. This is the experimental petal. And then we'll put in a little bit of orange at the bottom here. In our shadowy areas. Like so. What do you guys think of that? That looks okay. So there is our experimental petal, and I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to rinse off our brush, grab some clean water, and we're going to fill in this one. So we're going to use a little bit of brown. And this is a bit of burnt sienna and some white. I'm still using the Daniel Smith paints. The same I have for the entire picture. Okay, here we go. Rinse the brush, pick up some yellow. And we're just going to give a little bit of yellow in there, like that. Rinse the brush again, pick up some orange. It's amazing how many colors end up going into a petal, isn't it? Just to make it look the way you want it to look. That's the great thing about paint, is you get to mix it exactly the way you want it to be. And sometimes you can just let it be and let it do what it's going to do. But you have a lot more control with a pencil than you do with paint. But it's always fun just to see what the paint's going to do. And the great thing about it is, if you don't particularly like what it's done, you can adjust it. I think that's pretty good there. Now we're going to take a clean brush and we're just going to smooth out some of those areas, just so they're not so stark. There we go. Now we're going to just dry that out. So that I don't run my hand through it, because I will. Just going to take some water. Oh, that's a little much. A little bit too much water there. Tap it off a bit. And we'll take a little bit of the brown, and then we'll let it do its thing. Try to cover the whole area with a good coat. Oh, my dog is on the couch snoring. She's so funny. Alright, now I'm going to grab some of this yellow, and we're just going to drop it in there in little spots. Mix it in, give a rinse, and then we're going to grab some orange. And we're going to just drop that in to those shadow areas. The darker areas on the petal. Once again, we can just grab a little bit of clean water and just touch things up a little. Get them going where we want them to go. Like so. Grab some clean water, and then we're going to do this one here. As long as you guys don't mind watching paint dry, then I'm good. So the mixture that I have done is 2 parts sienna, 1 part white, titanium white. Just to knock down that red color a little bit with the titanium white. Of course, it doesn't need to be knocked down a whole lot because we're adding other colors like oranges and yellows. Alright, I'm going to take a touch more water for that. There we go. So I have some yellow on my palette from yesterday, so there's no point in me putting fresh yellow on here when I already have some on here. So I'm just using the yellow that was already on my palette. I'm just going into the areas that have a little bit of light there because this petal is going to be quite dark because of all the shadow areas. Now I'm going in with the orange, which I mixed yesterday with a bit of white and yellow and red. Because I didn't want it too red, but I didn't want it too white either. There we go. Okay, let's dry this off. Also, drying it gives me indication of where, if anywhere, that I need to add some color or move some color around. Because the areas can be changed just with a damp brush. So I had some areas of white there, so we're just going to move some of that pigment into the white. Alright, clean brush, clean water, and we're going to put down some water. Now there's always different techniques to pretty much everything. This one is, from what I understand, a wet on wet technique where you take a wet brush full of pigment and put it on a wet page. There's also a dry on dry, or a wet on dry I should say, because with watercolor it's always going to be wet, where you put the paint on a dry area. On the dry area you get a higher pigmentation because the water isn't diluting the paint. I don't mind it diluting the paint. I like watching it run around. It all depends upon how much water you put down though. Sometimes you can end up with too much water down and you end up making paint run everywhere. So you have to be a little bit cautious of that. I had a drip on my brush that was about to run off and do its own thing. Okay, so we've got the yellow down. Now we're going to put some orange in. Into those shadowy areas. Just a little bit more orange, I think. I get all concentrating on you. Shut up a little bit. Telling you. Alright, now we're going to go on to the next one. We'll get 2 done at a time and then I'll dry it out, because I'm going to have to start moving my hand up towards the top again. And I do have a tendency to not watch where I'm going. That's the great thing about doing the channel, is it has actually taught me to watch more of what I'm doing. So, you know, I may not, I won't cover up the page as much if I'm actually on the channel doing it, because I want you to see what I'm doing, and in order for you to see what I'm doing, I gotta keep my hands out of the way. So I'm using that burnt sienna and white mixture. I think I need a little bit more. Oh, this part of the page just sucked that water right up. Let's add a little bit more water there. That's better. Wasn't moving around very well. Sometimes you just gotta put a little bit more water on it. Rinse that off. Pick up some yellow. I think I might actually need to put down some more yellow. Like that. Rinse that off. And then we'll pick up some orange. Sorry about that. My phone is telling me things. I forgot to silence it. Can't really silence it right now. I've got parents that are needing attention sometimes. So, I have parents in hospitals. So I keep it on so that if they message me or call me, I can hear it. Alright, just put the orange in there, and then we're going to dry it. I think that's dry. Yep. Alright, rinse the brush really well, and grab some clean water, and just soften a couple of these edges up here. Just a couple that are a little bit harsher than I wanted them to be, but that's okay, because we can fix it. There we go, that's a bit better. And there we are. All right, next, take a clean brush. This petal is quite small. Quite get enough paint on there. Okay, like that. Then we'll grab our yellow. And we'll do the edge like that. And then we'll get our orange. That. Alright, next, I think we need just a touch of this brown in here. I think I may have put a little too much yellow. There, that's a little better. Now we're going to clean our brush, get some clean water. And wet the page. And then we're going to pick up some paint and some water. And move it around. Rinse off our brush. Pick up some yellow. Like that. And then we'll pick up some orange. Actually, you know what I should do? I should see if I can do both cameras so you can see what I'm doing on the palette as well. Hold on a sec, I'll finish this petal and then I'll see. Let's see if it works. There we go. And then I'll move that in because you don't need to see my lap. There. So now you can see what's going on the palette as well as, let's do this down here. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing over here as well as over here. Okay, now we're going to wet down the petal here. Oh, no, I didn't finish the orange on that one. So let's grab a little bit more orange. Just doesn't look like there's enough orange here. I think I need a little bit more yellow too. There, that's better. That's a little better. Alright, rinse the brush. Pick up some water. Oh, looks like the one next door wants to come in and say hello, which is fine. And we take our brown and we gently fill it in. Let the water move it around a little bit. Like that. Rinse our brush and take some yellow. And put some yellow in there. Rinse again. Take some orange. I need to mix some more orange too, I think. Because we've got all these other ones in the center here that need to be done. Grab a little bit of this red orange here. Rinse our brush and then just pick up some of that. Dry the brush off. Like that. And I've learned from watching other people that you can pick up the water and the color and move it around, remove some of it, just change the amount of water that you have, which sometimes changes the amount of color that's showing, that's going down, which is really kind of cool. Alright, so next, this is the last petal, and then we've got the center of the flower. So I'm just going to put some water down. Try not to put down too much water, but we'll put down a good quantity. Take a little bit of the sienna and white mixture here. And we'll spread it around. Just swoosh it around with the water. And it'll do what it's going to do. Like that. And then we're going to take a bit of the yellow. We're just going to put the yellow in here. Trying not to pick up too much of that water in the process. Might need to add a little bit more brown to it after a bit here. After we dry it. Just going to take up a bit of this reddish orange here too. just to give it a little bit more oomph. Because I've got quite a bit of water on here, so. Oops. All right. Rinse our brush. Dry it off really, really well. Then we're going to clean that up. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking a dry brush and picking up the color. Well, it's not even dry, it's damp. I'm just picking up the color that I went over the edge with. Give it a good dry. Make it all nice and lovely and dry, like so. And then we're going to do the center area, and we're going to need a bit more of the yellow for that. So I'm just going to put down a dollop of yellow. Don't need a whole bunch, just a little bit. And that is Hansa Yellow Light in the Daniel Smith paints. Oh, well, that was silly of me. Rinse it off. I forgot to do the important part first. I forgot to do this part. So let's wet this down. And then we'll take a good dollop of paint. And we're just going to move it around here. Take a little bit more paint. Get to the very edges of those little petals. The darker areas I'm going to be adding some red to create a bit of an orange. Looks like I need a bit more water. The brush is getting a little dry, so you just add a little bit more water. Pick up some more of the paint. There we go. So as soon as you have all of the yellow areas completely covered, we'll do a yellow in the middle too. Now you can see where all your dark areas are going to be. So I'm going to take the permanent Azorian, Alizorian, red, and I'm just going to mix it in with some of this orange and take a bit of clean water just to make a nice dark orange. Which we'll mix in with that yellow that's on there. And then we're just going to cover all those shadowy bits. Like so. Grab a bit more water. So the great thing about these artists that add that just that little bit of grayscale to tell you where your colors need to go. I really enjoy grayscale. It is so helpful. Alright. And like that. And I'm going to put a little bit more yellow on the edges here. And I think this flower is all done. I'll run a hot air over it and get it all dry. Take a bit more water and just spread things around a little bit. Make sure that all the areas are cleaned up. Oh, there's a little bit of orange missing there. I'm just going to put a touch of this red there. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, I think we're good. We're going to take our dryer, give it a dry. And there we have another flower all done. Alright, so I'm going to rinse our brush really well because we're going to go on to a different color now. And we're going to take our clean water and we're going to do this flower here. And we're going to try not to hit that center area there. And then we're going to take some purple. You know what? I think I want this a little bit darker. So let's add a little tiny bit more of the amethyst. Just a squish. Just a squish. There we go. I just want it a little bit darker than the color it is. There we go. And of course now it needs more water. This paper is very thirsty today. I'm going to fill it all in, trying to be very careful not to touch other areas that don't need to be painted. Alright. Now we're going to rinse our page, or not our page, let's move that a little bit so you can see. And we're going to take Imperial Purple, which is this one here. And we're just going to roll that a little bit. Might need to use a thinner brush. Yeah, I think I need to use a thinner brush. Alright, so I'll use the Zero. Pick up some paint. Give it a roll on here. Make sure that it's that's better. That's much better. So I'm just trying to get those lines in as well as the shadow areas. Being very careful not to go over his face with the dark purple, because that would not go well. Alright, and then you're just going to drag that up like that. I think that looks okay. Might need a little squish of the light purple in there. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit. Make sure that I touch that up. Put that brush in there, rinse this brush off, get some clean water on it, and then we'll just gently soften any hard lines and and give it a dry. I know I wet the other petals, but this paper is really thirsty today for some reason. So all that water had already dried, so I'm going to have to put fresh water on it. So we'll put some clean water on it. Let's put a little bit more. Then we'll take our amethyst. Be careful not to touch the bug with it. Like so. And then we'll put that in the rinse off the liner brush and put in the shadows. With the imperial purple. Like that. And we'll dry that. And we do the whole thing all over again. Give it a rinse. Wipe the brush. Grab some clean. And then we've got this one here. There we go. We'll grab the amethyst. And we'll let it go to town. I don't know why this page is so thirsty today. Maybe I'm just not putting enough water on it. It's very possible. It just feels really dry even after I put a whole bunch of water on it. Add a little bit more water. There, that's a little better. Still feels pretty dry though. I don't know. Finicky. It's finicky. But that's what watercolor does. It does its thing. Okay, rinse that one off. Grab some clean water. And pick up some of the imperial purple. And then do your shadows. Like that. And then dry it off. And we're almost finished another flower. Okay. And then we're going to take our larger brush here. Get some clean water. We're going to do this area here. Try not to get too much of the green pulling in. Get some clean water. Get some amethyst. See, this part did it the way I wanted it to. Just pulled it all off the brush and moved it around. That's the way it's supposed to do it. I think the other part of the page is just really thirsty. Alright. Make sure that I move it into the lighter area here. There we go. See, that's what I wanted it to do. And then we're going to grab our liner brush, get some clean water, and do our shadow areas. We need a little bit more of the imperial purple. I feel like I need a little bit more water. There we go. That's better. I'm just going in behind this leaf and putting in some shadow from the leaf on the petal. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to dry it. And then we're going to take our bigger brush here, take some water, dry off a little bit, and just feather out some of these lines that are a little harsh. Just so they're not so stark. Just relaxing the line a little bit. There we go. That's better. Alright, now we're going to rinse it. Get some clean water, and we're going to do our center. And we're going to do this with yellow. Like that. Perfect. Perfect. Alright. Now we're going to do these little flowers here, and then we are going to call it a day. I know, an hour, and we've barely got 3 flowers done. What the heck? Alright, so let's do this part here. We've got our water on here. And we're going to grab our pretty pink. And I think we got too much water on there. Just going to dab it a little before we put any color on it. And we're just going to spread that pretty pink around. Get it over here. Like that. I think that's that side. Then we're going to rinse our brush. And we're going to take a little bit of water. We're going to put this area here. This area here. And this little tiny area there. We're just going to take a little tiny bit of Bordeaux red. And we're just going to fill that in. Actually, yeah, that is Bordeaux red. Okay. Just making sure I gave you the right color. And those other little things are leaves, so we won't paint them. Okay. Like that. Then we're going to grab a little tiny bit of this one here. Like that. And we're going to take our thin brush and we're just going to feather that out a little. Like that. That's a leaf. Alright, now we're going to dry that. Well, actually, we're going to put some yellow. I've got my small brush here. So we're just going to put the yellow on here. And because the laser printer ink is there, it may not stay there very good. But that's where we're going to put it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing all over again. And take our clean brush, get this area here all wet. Take a bit of this pink. And move it around. Got a little bit too much water on there, so I'll dab it up here in a second. A drip fell down the edge here, so I'm just going to dab up some of it. Using my brush. Like that. And it lightens the color as well. Then we're going to take our brush again and we're going to go in here and here and here and grab a bit of that Bordeaux red and And we're just going to put it in there. And we're going to rinse our brush, take a dry brush, and just move it around. Pick it up if you need to. Like that. Take a bit of clean water, go up into this Alzorian red here. Make sure I dry the drip off before it drips down again where I don't want it to be. And put a line in there. Like that. And some yellow. So we'll take our fine liner. Need a little bit of dry, I think. Load the brush up with, yeah, there we go. That's better. I'll do the same thing up here. Just needed a little bit more of the dry paint instead of the water because the printer ink was pushing back on the water. And then we'll give it a dry. And then we're going to do this last one. Can't believe it's already been an hour. The pink that I'm using is a mixture of white and pretty sure it's the permanent Alzorian. Permanent Alzorian. Or it might be, no, it's not. It's white and quadricon rose. That's right. Is what the pink is. Need a little bit more water. This one here, we're not going to pick up all of the pink. We're going to pick up a little bit of it where the light area is going to hit up here. And we'll leave the dark areas down there. Like that. we're going to take a bit of the Bordeaux. Do the edges here of the other petals. And this one here. So take a little tiny bit of this and just do the edge. Like that. Just the shadowy areas. Like that. And then we'll take our clean water, get some yellow. I'm going to fill the brush with it. Nice and dry. There we go. And then we'll dry it out, and then we'll take a look. Alright, now I'm going to switch over to the main camera. Give a shove over here. Give this a tip up for you so you can actually see the entire thing. And there we have it. So we got this one here done today, this one here done today, and the little pink ones done. I will continue tomorrow with the blue ones down here, and then the rest of the greenery, and we will be all done. So tomorrow we will finish this off. I know today was Final Touches Thursday. However, I don't have anything to show you tomorrow for First Impressions Friday. I was a good girl and did not buy things I didn't need. So, with that being said, I get to show you more painting tomorrow. So I'm just going through, rinsing off my brushes, cleaning them all up, and putting them aside. I won't wash anything off yet off the palette because we may need it. I think we're going to need some of this sienna brown for the posts and pegs and whatnot. Alright guys, I hope that it has been educational, entertaining, or at least relaxing to watch me paint this and watch the paint dry. Yeah, so we will get this finished, I promise, tomorrow. I may go through and do a few of these blue flowers because they're all the same, but we will get this finished by tomorrow. Alright guys, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube channel that you enjoy the content of. Hitting that like button does help us out quite a bit. And understanding what you enjoy to see or, that sort of thing, it also gives us personally a little bit of a confidence boost because, self-esteem is a thing and most of us have very low of it. So please remember to hit that like button. Always remember to be kind to one another, relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Once again, we will see you again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye for now.